Far beyond the familiar warmth of our sun, in the deep freezing expanse of the outer solar system, lies a realm of ice and shadow. Here, the light is dim, casting long, pale rays across wandering bodies that have remained undisturbed for billions of years. We are venturing into the distant territories of the ice giants, a place where our understanding of planetary geology is constantly challenged by the sheer scale and strangeness of what we find in the dark. At the heart of this frozen frontier is Uranus, a massive pale blue sphere rolling on its side through the cosmos. Encircled by a delicate system of faint, ethereal rings and a retinue of dozens of moons, the Uranus system is a miniature solar system unto itself. It is a lonely outpost in the void, a silent kingdom that holds secrets frozen in time, waiting for humanity to cast its gaze upon its distant, icy shores. Orbiting at the very edge of this complex system of natural satellites is Oberon. It is the outermost major moon of Uranus, keeping a distant, lonely watch over the ice giant. Hanging over 500,000 kilometers from its parent planet, Oberon circles in the deep cold, a silent sentinel that marks the boundary of Uranus's immediate gravitational dominion before the vast emptiness of interplanetary space takes over. Our awareness of this distant world dates back centuries. Oberon was discovered by the renowned astronomer William Herschel in the year 1787. Just 6 years after he first identified Uranus itself, Herschel peered through his meticulously crafted reflecting telescope and spotted faint specks of light orbiting the newly found planet. With that observation, Oberon was brought into the light of human knowledge, named after the mythical king of the fairies from literature. For nearly 2 centuries following Herschel's monumental discovery, Oberon remained little more than a tiny, unresolved point of light in the eyepieces of Earth's most powerful telescopes. We knew it was there, locked in its slow dance around Uranus, but its true face was hidden by unimaginable distance. Generations of astronomers could only guess at what mysteries lay upon the surface of this distant moon, imagining worlds of ice and shadow. The long era of speculation finally began to draw to a close with the advent of the space age. The ambitious Voyager program was launched, sending robotic emissaries to traverse the solar system. For years, Voyager 2 sailed through the interplanetary void, crossing billions of miles, surviving the harsh radiation of Jupiter and the complex rings of Saturn, all to reach the twilight realm of Uranus and its elusive moons. In the winter of 1986, humanity finally arrived at Uranus. As Voyager 2 hurtled through the system, it had only a brief, fleeting window to observe the moons. Traveling at immense speeds, the spacecraft aimed its cameras at Oberon, capturing the very first close-up images of a world that had been hidden since the dawn of the solar system. In a matter of hours, Oberon was transformed from a speck of light into a complex physical place. Because of the precise trajectory required to continue its journey toward Neptune, Voyager 2 could only image the southern hemisphere of Oberon, which was bathed in sunlight at the time. The northern half remained shrouded in decades-long darkness, an enduring mystery. Yet, even this partial glimpse revealed a staggering amount of detail, pulling back the curtain on a moon that had endured eons of cosmic bombardment and geological upheaval. What Voyager 2 revealed was a world steeped in ancient shadows. The surface of Oberon is remarkably dark and slightly red in color. This reddish, charcoal-like hue is a stark contrast to the bright, reflective ice seen on many other moons in the outer solar system. The exact nature of this dark material hints at complex organic compounds or space weathering baked by radiation over billions of years in the deep freeze. Beneath this dark, weathered veneer lies a composition born of the primordial solar nebula. Current scientific estimates suggest that Oberon consists of roughly equal amounts of water ice and dense rock. It is a frozen composite, a testament to the chaotic gathering of materials that formed the Uranus system. This mixture of rock and ice dictates the moon's internal structure and the geologic forces that have shaped its crust over the eons. The face of Oberon tells a violent story. It is a heavily cratered world, bearing the scars of countless impacts. Because Oberon orbits so far from Uranus, it has remained largely geologically inactive for much of its history, preserving the record of these ancient collisions. Every crater is a monument to a violent strike from a rogue asteroid or comet, a frozen battlefield mapping out the history of the early outer solar system. To stand on the surface of Oberon would be to experience unimaginable desolation. The temperature hovers near absolute zero, and the faint sun provides only a fraction of the warmth and light we feel on Earth. The sky is a deep, eternal black, pierced only by the distant pale sphere of Uranus and the unblinking stars. It is an environment so harsh and unchanging that it feels as though time itself has simply stopped. Among the myriad of impact scars that blanket the moon, one feature immediately draws the eye. Voyager's cameras captured a prominent feature on Oberon known as Wunda. This is a massive, striking crater that stands out brilliantly against the otherwise dark reddish terrain. Wunda serves as a focal point in the southern hemisphere, a dramatic reminder of the immense energies involved when cosmic bodies collide in the depths of space. What makes Wunda so captivating is its core. It is a large crater with a remarkably bright floor. This brilliant central region is likely composed of freshwater ice, excavated from deep within Oberon's crust during the violent impact that formed the crater. Or perhaps it was deposited later by some form of icy volcanism. Against the dark, ancient surface, the bright floor of Wunda shines like a beacon in the night. Features like Wunda are more than just visual spectacles. They are windows into the moon's past. The dark material on the crater floors, alongside the bright ice, suggests a complex interplay of geology. Perhaps dark material welled up from the interior, or maybe it was swept up from passing debris. Each layer of ice and dark dust is a page in the geological record of this distant, frozen world. But craters are not the only scars on this moon. Cutting across the heavily battered landscape, we find something far more profound. Deep canyons, scientifically known as chasmata, exist on Oberon's surface. These immense fractures slice through the icy crust, disrupting the ancient cratered plains. They are vast, tectonic gashes that speak to a time when Oberon was not merely a passive target for impacts, but a world experiencing internal turmoil. The scale of these chasmata is breathtaking. They stretch for hundreds of kilometers across the moon's face, their sheer cliffs plunging deep into the icy crust. Unlike the canyons on Earth, which are carved by wind and water, the canyons of Oberon are the result of raw, immense stress on the planetary crust. They are literal cracks in the shell of the world, frozen monuments to ancient titanic forces. Planetary scientists believe these fractures tell a story of internal transformation. The deep canyons on Oberon suggest that the moon underwent a period of significant expansion during its early evolution. As the water inside Oberon froze, it would have expanded, stretching the rigid outer crust until it shattered and tore apart, creating the deep chasmata we see today. It is a compelling hypothesis of a world tearing itself open as it turned to ice. Today, that process of expansion has long since ceased. The engine that drove the fracturing of the crust has gone cold. Oberon is now a geologically dead world, locked in a deep freeze that preserves its ancient scars with perfect fidelity. The canyons and the craters sit side by side, silent witnesses to a chaotic youth and a long, quiet eternity. The moon has become a museum of early solar system geology. As Voyager 2 swung past this ancient world, its cameras scanned the horizon, where the curved edge of the moon meets the pitch black of deep space. This boundary, known as the limb, is where the true topography of a planetary body is revealed in stark silhouette. It is here, against the void, that the most dramatic features of a world can suddenly cast their shadows and reveal their true height. Looking closely at this boundary, astronomers made a breathtaking discovery in the data. As the spacecraft sped away, Voyager 2 photographed an unnamed mountain on Oberon's limb. It appeared as a sharp, jagged peak thrusting upwards into the darkness, breaking the smooth curve of the moon's horizon. In a single, grainy image transmitted across billions of miles, humanity witnessed one of the most astonishing geological features in the entire solar system. This solitary peak stands alone, a towering spire on a world of deep craters and wide canyons. Its origins are shrouded in mystery. It might be the central peak of an unimaginably large impact basin that lies just over the horizon, hidden in the unlit northern hemisphere. Or it could be a massive block of the crust that was thrust upward during the moon's violent period of expansion. Whatever its origin, its presence is commanding. When scientists measured the shadow and the profile of this unnamed mountain, the results were staggering. The unnamed mountain on Oberon is estimated to be about 11 kilometers, or 36,000 feet tall. 11 kilometers of solid ice and rock, reaching up into the void of space. On a moon that is less than half the size of Earth's moon, a mountain of this magnitude represents a significant fraction of the world's entire radius. To fully grasp the scale of this alien mountain, one must imagine a sheer wall of ice and rock ascending into the sky, dwarfing any landscape we know. If you were standing at its base, the peak would seem to disappear into the black sky above. It is a monument of incomprehensible size, standing in total silence, bathed in the faint, ghostly light of a sun that looks no brighter than a bright star. To put this staggering height into perspective, we must look to our own planet. Oberon's unnamed mountain is significantly taller than Earth's Mount Everest, which stands at 8.8 kilometers tall. The highest peak on our homeworld, the supreme challenge for human mountaineers, would be overshadowed by this solitary spire of ice orbiting Uranus. It is a humbling reminder of the extreme geography that exists far beyond our atmosphere. How can such a colossal structure exist on a moon so small? The answer lies in gravity. Oberon's surface gravity is incredibly weak, only a tiny fraction of Earth's. On our planet, the sheer weight of a mountain eventually causes it to slump and sink into the crust. But on Oberon, the weak gravity allows structures of ice and rock to reach extraordinary heights without collapsing under their own weight, reaching heights impossible on Earth. This towering peak remains nameless, a silent, lonely spire in the eternal twilight of the outer solar system. It has stood there for perhaps billions of years, slowly weathering the micrometeorite rain and the relentless cold. It watches over a desolate landscape of deep chasmata and bright-floored craters, a silent sovereign over a frozen, forgotten kingdom. It is a place of terrible, beautiful isolation. The unnamed mountain of Oberon challenges our terrestrial biases. It reminds us that the processes that shape worlds, impacts, expansion, freezing, and shattering, play out on grand scales across the universe. Our earthly mountains are but one expression of geological forces. Out in the freezing dark, where water behaves like rock, the rules change, and the universe sculpts masterpieces of ice that defy our earthly expectations and ignite our sense of wonder. Since that brief encounter in 1986, no human spacecraft has returned to Uranus. Voyager 2's fleeting images remain our only glimpse of Oberon and its towering mountain. The moon has faded back into the distance, a faint speck of light once more. Yet, the data gathered in those few precious hours continues to fuel our imaginations and our scientific inquiry, proving that even a brief look can reveal worlds of unimaginable grandeur. As we look out into the night sky, toward the dim, distant orbit of Uranus, we now know what lies hidden in the shadows. We know that out there, on a dark, red, heavily cratered moon, a mountain taller than Everest pierces the starry void. Oberon stands as a testament to the wild, untamed beauty of the outer solar system, a magnificent alien frontier waiting patiently for the day we finally return.
If you enjoy this content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. A quick tap on the like button also helps us learn what topics you like best. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one.